The difficulty I have is understanding the nature of Sat-Chit-Ananda because we can't know it with the ego mind. It's like trying to understand what deep sleep is. We can't because ego isn't present. The analogy of the snake and rope is limited because the mind can focus on the rope, so trying to know the self with the limited ego mind is impossible. So it seems like a void, but is actually fullness, wholeness. So trying to understand a world with no form and no name is very challenging from the point of view of the body-mind.
The term Sat-Chit-Ananda is used to make us understand that it is what is ever present. Do we not know being? Do we not know our own being? Do we not know I am? We all know I am. The fact that we know I am means we're aware. That means I am is our being. The fact that we know I am, that knowing of I am is awareness. So we all know we all know being. We all know what it is to be. We all know what it is to be aware. So the Sat and the Chit we are already aware of. We also know happiness. We are all seeking happiness. And we enjoy a little bit of happiness here and there. But we don't experience that happiness in its fullness. But nobody can say that they have no idea what happiness is. Every sentient being is seeking happiness. So how can we seek something if we don't have? I mean, we seek happiness because we know what happiness is. We know the difference between being happy or and unhappy. So Sat-Chit-Ananda is the one thing that is known to all of us. It's not some distant thing. Why it may seem to us to be unknown, because Sat-Chit-Ananda, Sat is pure being, Chit is pure awareness, Ananda is pure happiness. That we may not experience now. The reason we don't experience it now, though that is what we actually are, is because we now mistake ourselves to be a set of adjuncts, namely this bundle of 5 sheaths called body or person. The person we take ourselves to be consists of 5 sheaths. That's the physical form of this body, the life that animates this body, and the mind, intellect, and will that function within this body. These 5 collectively make up the person we take ourselves to be. This is what Bhagavan refers to as body. That is, when we're aware of ourselves as I am this body, we're never aware of a dead body as I. The body that we experience as I is always a living body. So it's the body and life are there. And we never experience a sleeping body as I. It's always, the body that we experience as I always seems to be awake. Even in dream, the body that we take to be I seems to be awake at that time. So in a body that seems to be awake, there is also a mind, intellect, and will functioning within it. So this is what we now experience ourselves to be. Because we mistake ourselves to be these things, which are not what we actually are, because we exist and shine even in the absence of these things in sleep. We are clearly aware that when we wake up from sleep, we say, I slept happily, I had a peaceful sleep. How can we be aware of having been in a state if we were not aware of being in that state while we were in that state? Of course, in sleep, we are not aware I am without thought. We are just aware I am. But we are clearly aware I am. If we think about it carefully, we are clearly aware of our being in sleep. Because if we were not aware of our being in sleep, how can we be aware now that we were in a state in which we were not aware of anything? When we say we were not aware of anything in sleep, that means we were not aware of any phenomena. But we were aware of our being in that state. Because how else can we, supposing as people generally suppose, that sleep is a state of unconsciousness. Supposing there's absolutely no awareness in sleep at all, how would we know we were in such a state? All we would be aware of is a seemingly unbroken succession of alternating states of waking and dream. But we're not aware of that. We're clearly aware that there's a third state in which we're not aware of anything other than ourselves. The fact that we're aware of having been in that state means we were aware when we were in that state. So we exist and shine in all three states. The body and mind and world, they appear and they disappear. But the one thing that never either appears nor disappears is our own being, our own fundamental awareness, I am. That is Sat-Chit-Ananda. That is what we actually are. So we shouldn't think of it as some unknown thing. It's our Sat is our own very being. That is, we cannot be sure of the existence of anything other than ourselves. All we can say about other things is they seem to exist. This world seems to exist. But does it actually exist? We can't be sure. It could all be an illusion. It could be just a dream. So the only existence or being of which we can be certain is our own being, our own existence. That alone we can be sure of. Other things may not exist. They may be just an illusion. But one thing that cannot be an illusion is our own being, our own existence. So we are clearly aware that we exist. We are clearly aware that we are aware, because we couldn't know anything if we were not aware. So we know that we are, and we know that we're aware. That is Sat-Chit. And we know that the one thing that we always are seeking is happiness. And we experience little iotas of happiness here and there. But whatever happiness we seem to experience, but whatever happiness we experience seemingly as a result of getting whatever we desire, never satisfies us. However much we may desire something, when we get it, momentarily we feel happy. But because the agitation or restlessness in the form of desire, but was existing all this time, is momentarily satisfied or quietened by achieving that. But as soon as we get what we want, we begin to want something else. If we always lived in poverty and we want to have $1,000 or £1,000 or 1,000 rupees, whatever it may be, that may seem to be a very big amount when we don't have it. As soon as we get it, it seems very trifling. Now we want 10,000. When we get 10,000, we want 100,000. Once we get 100,000, we want 1,000,000. And as Bhagavan said about desire, the nature of desire, so long as we don't achieve what we desire, our desire will make even a molehill, even a small heap of earth, seem like Mount Meru. But once we achieve it, even Mount Meru will seem like some trifling, small amount of dirt, of a small heap of mud. So the nature of desire, it will always make the desired object seem very big until we get it. And once we get it, we want something. It's not all that we took it to be. So we want something more. We want something more. So desire can never be satisfied. So the problem with desire, that is the driving force behind any desire, is the fundamental desire that we all have to be happy. We all like to be happy. So if we think that I'll be happy if I have 10,000 or $100,000 or pounds or rupees or whatever it may be, we will that will seem to be very, very big achievement if we can get that. Once we get it, we want more. We want more. So desire, we can never satisfy our desires. We can never find real happiness in the satisfaction of desires. The real happiness is our very being. So in order to experience the infinite happiness that we actually are, it's necessary for us to know ourselves. This is what Bhagavan says in the very first sentence of Nana. He ends by saying, in order to experience that happiness, which is our real nature, which we experience daily in sleep, it is necessary for oneself to know oneself. In other words, it's necessary for us to know what we actually are. And for that, the principal means is the investigation, who am I?